have shit written down either. So that's how I
Right
roll.
on. Um, yeah. So Rick, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining me. We uh, we had Breeze on a couple weeks ago. Big Breeze from TikTok breaks,
Yeah.
and he does a lot of your guys' helmets. And I made a clip that kind of cut up him saying, a 50 box break benefits nobody but the breaker themselves. Now, there was a lot of context left out of that, but the gist of it was the value isn't there. Somebody's going to get hammered. Even if they got to hit a bunch of times to really win. Now, remember, we're talking about helmets. We weren't talking about fucking Top's Finest or some shit like that. So he got nothing but headache, troubles, strife on all social media platforms. So, did you get a chance to see that?
I did. I saw the clip. It was a nice clip. Create controversy, right?
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked some of the comments. I agree with some of the comments. Some of the comments I don't necessarily agree with. And I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between the memorabilia side and the card side, right? If you have, so he's specifically in that situation talking about the memorabilia. He's talking about helmets, right? When you take 50 full size helmets, you throw them on a platform and break them, it's not necessarily a problem to break 50 helmets. It's the price point that's a problem. When you look up and you can buy the Arizona Cardinals for $600, right? That's what it's going to cost you to get the Arizona Cardinals. In an authentic break, unless you hit one of the speed flexes that's going to be in the run, you're screwed, right? There, first and foremost, the Arizona Cardinals are not there's not enough players. A Trey McBride authentic helmet is not going to sell for $600, right? So I guess if I'm the one that's going to be left to add some context here, um, the way that I would put it is, as a consumer, you need to understand that every single breaker buys the product or builds the product themselves, right? If they're buying the product from a company like mine, I have no issue being fully transparent and telling you exactly what our wholesale cost is, right? So when you look at an authentic box, these breakers are paying $600 for the box. When they turn around and sell it to you for $850 and then times that by 50, add in some juice because that's what we do when we create this massive 50 box break, the odds of you hitting 7 helmets, as was classified, is slim to none. And let me explain to you why. Not just because you can't hit 7 helmets, but because when you work with these breakers, they specifically request that you hit multiple teams, right? So when a breaker calls me and says, "Hey, Rick, I want a 50 box run of your helmets," I would like to make sure that for my consumer base, all 32 teams hit. Okay, 32 minus 50 leaves X. There's only so many doubles. When I build a 50 box run, the maximum amount of doubles we're going to put in there is possibly 3, right? You're not going to see
Right.
4. You're definitely sure as fuck not going to see 7. So in the helmet world, it is hard to make your money back, but it is more collector eccentric, right? There's more for the collector. Now, there is a lot of really good breakers. There's a lot of breakers that don't have a 47, 50% margin, 100% margin. And there's some that are. And I understand the difference between the costs and how some people can have higher overhead, some not. We're guilty of this, right? As we
Sure.
grew our company, we went from small mom and pop to multi-million dollar company within 12 months. As we did, you get into the limelight, right? And you start to do things that increase your overhead. Therefore, your product doesn't look as good, right? We're guilty of that. You know,
Sure.
we had one of the absolute best products on the market.
So, is I got a couple things with that. So it's common practice for I'm going to call you up and say, "Hey, I want you to make me this run and I want to make sure all the teams hit." I get that. That's great for, my buyers. That
Yeah.
way, when we do random teams or whatever, everybody's going to get something or close to. Um, but is that just a you guys thing or is that pretty standard for the industry? I mean, what about that?
Well, so the industry is pretty taboo, right? Everything from the wholesale side. As a wholesale company, I know a lot of the back end, right? And I don't mind sharing all this because at the end of the day, I think it needs to be said. And this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but fuck it, right? It is what it is. The
Hell yeah.
what All right, we'll just go into it. So the wholesale side of this company, when a breaker calls me and says, "Hey, I want you to build helmets," we'll talk specifically helmets at the moment, not cards, just helmets.
Okay.
Every single one of them has requests, right? Number one, if you get a company that's kind of, I'm going to use the term shady or not shady, wrong word. You get a company, let's just say they call, say, "Hey, I want to do a
Okay.
20 box run. Can you make sure that Patrick Mahomes is in this run?" Yeah, not a problem. We'll put Patrick Mahomes in a 20 box run. Understand that we sell these products at 600 bucks a piece. A Patrick Mahomes helmet's more than 600 bucks. There's going to be a couple others that are more than 600 bucks. We have an average that we need to spend on the helmet in order to sell the product at a profit, right? So let's just use round numbers here. We're going to sell the box at 600 bucks. We have a $550 helmet cost, right? So we go out into the wholesale world to these distributors and we buy the helmets. We buy the helmets for an average. We're going to buy 20 helmets with an average of 550 bucks. We have to have a Patrick Mahomes. The breaker knows instantly that there's going to be a Patrick Mahomes. The breaker has also requested that we make sure that our run is diverse. They do not want the same team hitting multiple times, right? If you do, they want the tier one teams to hit maybe twice, but they want to see a variety of names and a variety of teams, which I completely understand.
Yeah,
So then they want to know
for
exactly where
sure.
the Mahomes is at, right? So when we send them the boxes, if you'll notice, all of our boxes don't come numbered, right? There's a little number deal on the side of it, but we don't number them. But they want to know where their hits are, right? So if they know where their hits are, then they can sell you the boxes long enough that they can recoup their money without hitting their case hit, right? Or without hitting their
Right.
Mahomes. So
But
they can
yeah.
drag this out on the consumer. This is taboo shit that no one tells you. They can drag it out
Whoa.
on the consumer until their fucking Mahomes is at the end of the box, right? Now, oh, we have 3 helmets left. The Mahomes is still live. Then you'll see fucking auctions going crazy down here. They're just padding their
Yeah,
pockets, right?
without a
This
doubt.
happens all the fucking time. All the time. And the
Holy
consumer just
shit.
has absolutely fucking no clue, right? But it's the same in the
Well,
sports cards, right? So, same
right.
thing there, too.
Well, that's a we I, right. We don't have a clue on how it works exactly, but a lot of people have an idea. I mean, it's not the same as Tops or Panini product being loaded for the breakers because that definitely operates different on a larger scale with printing
Yeah,
machines.
it's fucking happening,
But
too.
well, we can get into that. But I mean, because this is on such a lower level. But just on that, I mean, there's so many things that red flags that come up right there. It's kind of like, well, what the fuck? So how do we ensure that their homies don't get the fucking Brady or Mahomes helmet? How do we ensure that they don't do what you said and fucking keep it till the end so they can run it up crazy high, like insanely high? Um, how do we ensure that they have their people avoid bidding on certain things because they know it already came out or some shit like that? It's just there's a lot of wild shit. But how does it even stay alive if I guess because nobody knows about it, right? Because nobody knows
Well, so
exactly how
yeah,
it
it's all
works.
taboo, right? And that's what I said. We're guilty of this as a company, as Enigma. We're guilty of this. As we grew, well, then we start getting more clients and more clients and more clients, and the clients want certain things in order to continue buying your product. And then, of course, as we grow, our overhead grows, so the product doesn't look as good. So we're attempting to, and one of the biggest things that I fucked up with last year, me personally, that I think, especially in this company, is catering to the breaker versus catering to the consumer, right? When a
Hmm.
breaker is the one that spends the money with me, not the consumer. I don't sell to the consumer, I sell to the breaker, right? So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
wholesale company who sells to a reseller, and then the reseller turns around and sells our
Right.
product to the consumer. But it
It's
left
their
me
job. Yeah.
completely fucking vulnerable, and multiple breakers have really fucked that up but there's some really good ones too. So I know we're touching on the bad here, and I want to get some of this taboo stuff out. Education of the consumer, I think, is highly important. There's people, hardworking, blue collar, white collar people out here that are spending ass loads of money and have no fucking opportunity of hitting, or are spending, 200%, 100%, even 50. That's a good question. And clip this. As a consumer, what is a good profit margin for a breaker? What is an accepted and expected profit margin for a breaker? And would it surprise you to know that most of them are in the 40 to 50% range?
That would surprise me as a former breaker
Yeah.
because
Because
I wouldn't come anywhere near that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm sure if I would have got bigger, it would have been a lot easier to do something like that. But 40, I would say, as a consumer, as somebody that jumps into brakes, I would. I'm just gonna guess that I could see 20 being the top end, without thinking a lot about it, just my reactive answer. But that seems like an insane amount. So when we're talking about 40% on 200 per box, you know, 30 bucks, 50 bucks, however many, gee, that's a lot of money.
well, yeah, it all, and I'm not here to say what is right or wrong. I'm really not. I don't
Right,
care what
right.
you sell
No,
your
totally.
time for, what your entertainment value is.
Yeah,
But as a wholesaler, it can hurt us, and it has hurt our company. Crippen Rippin is one that posted on that post, and I disagree with his statement. But he also takes our $600 product and sells it for $840, and then his consumer base, right, his clientele, they value and rate our product based on his cost, not based on our cost, right? If your margin wasn't 47% or 45%, whatever it was, then our product is a lot better. But you take other products that he
right.
sells.
Gotcha.
I'm sure he buys a lot of products at $500 or $600, $700. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Crippen by any means, right? I just want to be transparent about what's going on because I think it's important. And it's not just him, right? There's big breakers out here. Their profit margins are between 30 and 40%. Now, gross profit, right? I don't care what his net is. I don't care what he has
Sure.
to pay TikTok. I don't care that he's paying $1,000 a day in ads. That's got nothing to do with the fact that my product that I'm selling, my name, my brand, what we've built, what we put blood, sweat, and tears into, they don't give a fuck about, which is cool. I have no issue with that. But they have to understand that when you take a product and throw a 50% margin on it, that's the consumer's not going to like that product, right? We ran into this issue too with the cards this year. So, hired a guy, come in, he brought over 300 hobby shops. We supplied over 300 hobby shops last year. And these hobby shops, one of the biggest things that they would do is they would get our boxes. Let's say it's a gold, right? Our wholesale price on a gold, which used to be the Yeti, is $150. We
Hmm.
recommend that the breaker tack on 20 to 30% for entertainment value. Don't increase the product price, right? Increase your entertainment value. That's what breaking is, right? It's 20 to 30%. We like to see 20, 30 is fine. But they were taking these boxes. I would, have someone reach out to the website and be like, hey, I bought one of your golds at a hobby shop for $269, but I hit a $40 card and it's like $269 for a box I sold you for $150. Like, did you really have to get your nut on one box? Like, I'll sell you 50.
No
Like,
shit.
why are you doing that to your consumer base? It just does not make sense to me. But it is the market. And
Th-
like I said,
that doesn't
is
make
that
sense.
acceptable?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I mean that just has to be greed because instead of selling one for that profit, you can sell 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You're happier even if you hit a closer to the floor card, you're happier because you spent less. You're more likely to come back for more, especially if you hit something
Well,
mid
yeah,
or
of course.
higher. That seems like a stupid seller. A problem. What do you think the reason is for that? I mean, in my head, like, you know, being able to repeatedly sell to people is how business continues. Obviously, you know that. If I sell to you one time, that doesn't do me nearly as good as if I sell to you for 4 years.
Yeah, business
So,
retention is
where's
important.
the disconnect? Right. So, what do you think
Here
the
here's the
disconnect
question.
is there?
I would love to have enough of the consumer base watch this video and comment, right? I don't care if you hate me. I don't care, if call Stephen Bald or, whatever. It doesn't matter. Comment on the video
He is.
and tell us
Sure.
why the biggest breakers, right? The biggest ones, the backyards, the uh, baller, I mean,
The
any of it doesn't
vacuums.
matter.
Yeah.
Go to the TikTok shop and look at the top 100 shops. Go to Whatnot and look at
Sure.
the top 10 sellers. Why do they consistently have the highest ROI? They're paying the least amount for the product
For
and
sure.
they're making the most money. And you have a
Yeah. And
million small breakers out here that would love to do this for 5 or 10%. It's just enough to make them a box for the week or just enough to,
yep.
cover their costs so they can stay in the hobby. But those guys get absolutely no, as a matter of fact, they can't even stay in the industry. The turnover rate is so high. But the big breakers make the most money. I would love to know if, what the situation is. Why is it okay for them to dictate our value, but yet when we say the back end things like 50 box break sucks because no one hits, and they're selling the Cardinals for $600, all of a sudden it's a problem. And all of a sudden we just want breaker unity. No, you don't want breaker unity, bro. You want money, and that's okay. But let's be transparent about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Do
that's
you,
my
do you
biggest thing. If we're gonna be transparent about it.
no, without a doubt. And there was a few comments on Facebook, on TikTok, and um, you know, I can't speak for Crippen, but some of the guys that I talk to on the regular on Facebook, um, I I want to say if I would have presented that clip different and just took exactly what he said and didn't cut it up and jumble it around, they might not have had the same rebuttal. Um, you know what I'm saying? Because
Well,
I
of course.
think in the video, um, it explains it a little bit more, but it's longer. So, you can't do that. Fucking the retention rate in attention span of people is about 30 seconds on social media. So I got to cut it down and I got to make it look, oh, fuck, I want to watch what he's saying. Do you think anybody would have responded that way if it was the full segment?
Yeah, probably. I mean, some
Really?
of them, just simply because, and this is my opinion. I'm not speaking for Breeze, right? I'm not speaking for Dylan. I'm not speaking for Big Breeze Breaks. This is me. Rick from Enigma. This is my opinion. I watched it from the outside. I had absolutely nothing to do with any of that. But it was directed towards the people that on TikTok that are breaking 50 box memorabilia breaks. And I think what Breeze didn't
100%.
want to say because he wants to be the nice guy is their wholesale cost versus what they're selling those products for is fucking 40 to 50%. Right. So
Yeah.
even when you buy the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, first and foremost, more than likely, that breaker knows what's in those boxes, right? And that's the taboo that nobody wants to fucking talk about. The breaker probably knows what's in those fucking boxes. They may not know every single helmet, but they know what their fucking chases are. So when they're selling Tampa Bay for the highest fucking price, I get it. You have to make your money, but don't sit there and pretend like you don't know what the fuck is in the box because you do. So let's just be
Right. And
transparent. We had to do this with the cards, like you said 3 years ago, right? We had to tell
yes,
people, hey, you need to fucking understand what the value is in your product before you go out and purchase all this shit and spend your hard-earned money.
100%. And so real quick with like a checklist or a chase list, we're not talking about um uh Enigma Trading Company makes a run of helmets and this is the full fucking list, head to toe, top to bottom. So it could be any of these in there. We're talking about a run specifically built for somebody. So I'm guessing that is a much more common thing for breakers, especially bigger name breakers, to buy that way as opposed to like, let me just hit up Fire Factor, whoever the fuck ever, and buy 100
I
helmets,
can't
right?
tell
So
you how many
more of the
clients I have had over the last, because we've only been in memorabilia for about a year and a half. I can't tell you how many memorabilia clients I have that have called me and said, Rick, I'm currently buying from X company. Doesn't matter who. I'm currently buying from X
sure,
company, and they their odds are this is what they sell to the consumer, or this is what you can call them and buy them. But since I spend a little more money, this is what they give me. I want a discount, and I want to make sure that Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, and I want to know which one, and I want to know which team. That way I can set it up directly. And if you could make sure that we have, I'm looking for tier one teams. I don't want to see the Browns, right? I don't want to see the Raiders. I don't want to see, or whoever that,
Sure.
I don't want to see this
Yeah.
team. I don't want to see that team.
Cardinals.
My,
Hmm.
my community doesn't like X player, right? So of course it
Yeah.
doesn't just come with an order. It's an order with fucking demands, right? And then if we don't
Yeah.
meet them demands and have the best price, then the competitor comes in, they'll do
Right.
it. So I'll tell you this. We've
Fuck.
had to turn people down. We're not going to sell you helmets. I'm not going to tell you where absolutely every fucking helmet is in the run. But I'm also guilty of telling a breaker where his fucking hit is, right? That's the truth. And the internet can tear that the fuck up, right? It is what it is. The fact is, there's a lot of fucking behind the scenes shit that goes on, not only with the manufacturers, but with the breakers. And the consumers have no fucking clue. And the consumers are more educated in the card space, but there's so much influx of brand new consumers. So you still see the shitty repacks. You still see the blaster boxes for $100. You still
Yeah.
see the fucking problems, right? And you always will. You can't educate the whole consumer base. But those of you who are looking for answers and you're out here spending your hard earned money, the answers are there. You just got to look hard enough for them. You'll find them.
Well, and this is why the stigma continues on, right? Because um I am of the mindset that breaking is not bad. Breaking is good provided you do it
Of course.
responsibly and
I
with
love it.
breakers that aren't pieces of shit, right? Cuz I'd much rather I'd rather buy a couple fucking platinums off of you than hobby wax. Cuz I know
Mhm.
at a minimum I'm getting 2 or 3 floors at a minimum, which is going to fucking smoke wax 9.5 times out of 10, right? We all know,
Yeah.
anybody that pays attention knows this shit. It's a fact. Um, but in the same sense, you're right. There is just so much trash, so much fucking, the idea that repacks, and I'm specifically talking about cards right now. They're throwaway cards. They're shit that the guys can't get rid of either in a shop or breakers or whoever. They just, they're junk cards with one chase, or they're trashed. They would never jam, that kind of just beat to hell. These are the
Damaged
reasons.
scars,
And
fucked
then
up cards.
yeah, totally. And then I fight against that a lot. Like, I'm part of a bunch of communities where they are anti fucking breaking, but I love the dudes and they're not wrong. And I'm trying to tell them, no, you guys, it's not the case. Not all so and so's are bad, right? But you
One
keep
bad police
being
officer
around
doesn't
bad
make the
ones.
whole unit bad.
Fuck yeah. Exactly. Without a doubt. So, and then here I am with a guy who sells to these breakers going, nah, this shit's fucked up. Listen, let me tell you
Well,
why.
and that's the
Because they
truth,
all
right?
know what's in it.
Like I said, I think
Yeah.
last year we lost a little bit of the identity of who Enigma is. If you go back 2 years ago, you see all the videos, you see all the education, you see the consumer. We are for the consumer. Um,
Yep.
I'll admit we lost a little bit of that last year. Our overhead got extremely high. Our product didn't look as good as we wanted it to. And we cut all that out. We went from running $1 million a month to we may run a couple $1 million this year. And that's just the truth. We cut it all back. I would rather work with a small breaker and help them than to just have a million clients and flood the fucking streets with product everywhere. Unfortunately, it just
Well,
costs too much money.
it that was the difference between a Yeti or Legends and other repacks. Fucking uh, hit parade. I'll fucking say it because I buy all of it. Right? I fuck around, dude. I like cards. I
Yeah.
love fucking mystery product, and that was the difference because you guys were insanely involved in one main thing, and fuck, was it good. It was good. And I'm not saying it got bad. What I'm saying is that's why those things stay good, and why a hit parade or an XYZ or an OPP or fucking ABC, whatever, tend to be not as good. Some of them are good. Some of
And
them you
that's the
got lucky and
truth.
hit one.
There's
Some of them are
there's
trash.
absolutely nothing wrong with Hit Parade. Hit Parade, the Dave and Adam guys, I have no issues with those guys. Great guys. But their overhead is just a little too high, right? I think that is the
Yeah.
ultimate. between what we want to be able to offer on a daily basis versus what they offer. Doesn't make them bad people, just means their overhead's a little high. If you want to support that company, by all means, support that company. Their overhead may be higher than I know, right? But I can tell you their margins because I sell you wholesale product. Not only do I sell you
Right.
wholesale product, I know every other company that sells you wholesale product, and I have wholesale accounts with them, so I know what they charge, right? So I
For
know what
sure.
your margin is, right? Yes, it's a gross margin, but I know what your gross margin is. Your gross margin is substantially higher than those who are selling the same exact products. And that's cool. It's your entertainment value, right? I have no issue with that. My question is, does, as the consumer, right? My question goes to the consumer. If you knew that the margin was between 40 and 50%, are you okay with that? And if you are, I'm cool with that. I'll keep my mouth shut. It's not my lane. I don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
So, um,
Right.
that's kind of where it's at, right? That is what led into the
Yeah.
50 box breaks suck. And I don't think Breeze wanted to say that. And like I said, I don't speak for him. And I recommend you guys go break with them if you're willing to spend that type of money for those products, by all means. But set them aside. It doesn't change the fact that the breaker knows what's in the fucking boxes. You know, they may not know
Yeah.
everything, but they know where the fucking hits are. And that's the truth.
Yeah. And that's the problem, is because I encourage anybody, from my lane, I'll bring anybody on here and discuss it. I'm not arguing that Rick from Enigma Trading's right, or so and so's, right, or whatever. I'm just fucking talking here, and I would love for
That's
you to
it.
come on and talk with me and explain, right? So the problem is, it let's say here, one drug, I have arms. He said I ain't
I
got
love
no
it.
arms, I just, my head just floats. Let's say that what you're saying is correct, and a lot of breakers know where the fuck everything is. Who's going to come out and say that too? You're going to be the only one. You're going to be one of the only ones. I fucking promise you. Why would
Well,
anybody come out and tell the
most
truth?
breakers will build their own product, right? And that's something else that kind of goes
Yep.
into this. You know, you can source helmets. They're all buying back
True.
now, right? So they just buy the helmets back and then they rebox them and make a profit on them.
Totally.
But what are they buying them back on the secondary market, right? So as a consumer, think about this: you bought into this break, you spent X amount of money, you hit a helmet. Yes, breaking is gambling. I don't give a fuck who says it's not. You're lying and you want to
Of course.
appease TikTok's policies or whatever, whatnot's policies. Cool, I get it. But let's not, you lie to your friends, I'll lie to mine. We ain't got to lie to each other. Um,
Sure.
the breaking is gambling. So at the gambling point, let's say you win. Let's say you spend 25 bucks, or let's say you spend 100 bucks, get into an authentic helmet and you win an authentic helmet. The breakers are buying it back, right? The breakers are buying back more helmets than any consumer is, right? The market of memorabilia, or cards for that matter, is mostly resellers purchasing the cards for a resale purpose, whether they're repacking
100%.
it, whether they're taking it to their local card shop, or selling it to Arena Club, which pays, I guess, 105% of everything under 50 bucks is what someone just told me. We'll see. I don't
I've,
know.
I've heard,
Um,
I've heard very close.
yeah. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then, the helmets, they're putting them back in boxes and selling them. So if you buy into this break, and let's say the boxes, right? We'll just use a round number here. A breaker's selling an Enigma box. I'll use my box, right? They're selling an Enigma authentic box for 800 bucks or 850 bucks. And you hit a helmet, and then you turn right around and sell them that helmet. They take that helmet, they put it into one of their boxes, and then they're selling their product, right? Or vice versa, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
They're selling that product. So what are you selling the helmet back for? Is it market value? Because when I look on the Facebook groups, the Discord groups, the Instagram group, all that stuff, they're cheap as shit, right? But I don't know where that helmet's been. I don't know if the authenticity of the helmet is good. I just seen a Griffey jersey. Buddy of mine's got a Griffey jersey right now hanging up. That's fucking fake signature, and it's got a Beckett authentication on it. You scan a little card, it goes right back to
Yep.
fucking Beckett. It's like you have no
Fuck.
clue what you're fucking getting. And a lot of these,
Yeah.
we touched on this last time. There is a lot of fakes out there, and I'm not saying the helmets are fake, but you're viciously turning this circle jerk of a wheel. You buy in at a rate that is 50% higher than wholesale cost, and then you turn around and sell them the helmet, and then they build the box. You're seeing the same exact helmets in the same exact break rooms do this, right? It's just this one big fucking
Fuck
circle
yeah.
jerk, which I mean,
Oh,
hey, if that's the game, that's the game. But some
mhm,
consumers and the people that are coming into this hobby don't understand that. So they're out here
right,
trying to hit this Patrick Mahomes that the breaker already knows where it's at and they know when
yeah.
it's going to come out. Or they know, for instance, if there's no Cleveland Browns in your run, they fucking know because they request. Man, I'm not going to, but I could show the fucking receipts. You
I
know,
believe it.
so
Yeah, yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
there's gonna there's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna be a lot of my investigative journalist card buddies that are gonna be like, why the fuck didn't you push more? I'm gonna tell you why, because fuck that. Um, I, I'm not out here trying to fucking blow up anybody's spot like that, but just take it for what it is, get it yourself. Obviously, this shit is happening. I know this because on my end, I know a guy who went from buying from a company just like yours to building his own. And that's those guys all fucking know where they're at because they build their fucking own. So if
Well,
they're
that's
gonna move
that's
into
exactly
something
it. A
else,
lot of these helmet guys are building their own too. So they
yeah,
can pretend,
yeah,
oh, I don't know what's in here. It was built next door. You're a lying piece of shit. You're lying.
right.
That's the
Well,
fact.
and
You know exactly what's in there.
that's the
You bought it
argument.
back.
That's the argument I made with a lot of these guys. When I took Legends to Whatnot and I met all these Whatnot dudes, and then I came back to Facebook. Repacks are like have blown up but are crazy now, and everybody's hitting me up because I had the best looking fucking boxes. Fucking A right, I did. They physically opened the best. The imaging on them looked the fucking best. They had the best sweater. Everything about them was the
They're
fucking
fucking
best.
cool.
Oh my god, dude, the amazing. And they want to do it themselves. And I would always advise I will never buy into a repack where the guy selling it is the guy who made it. Well, why not? Because I don't fucking trust you.
Yeah,
Period.
you say, "Oh, well, we can offer more value," which I agree.
Oh,
I
for fuck
definitely
yeah, you
agree you can
can.
offer more value, but can you consistently offer that value? And is there any foul play? You know, and those are just questions you can't
Yeah,
because
where's
everyone's good till they're not, right? Everyone's good till they're
right?
not. Oh well, I'll vouch
Oh,
for this person. This person's
fucking
great, and then all of a sudden, gone with the wind. It's like, what the
yeah,
fuck just
yeah. But
happened? We've all
with that
seen it
being
too much.
said, if you guys, yeah, if you guys are vouching, that's a fucking wallet vouch on my end. So like, remember that comes with your wallet. So don't vouch for people unless you fucking mean it. That's just how I
Exactly.
feel about it.
Yeah, throw it out like
But
5-star reviews these days.
you're no shit. Like we talked in DMs twice, and he's a good guy. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So all right. So okay, let me ask you this though. So when we go to breakers, I know a lot of it has kind of shifted to where there's more back end bigger companies, maybe the guys similar to you that actually produce the product itself, and then they hire breakers to break. Is are you seeing a lot more of that as opposed to like the homegrown breaker? And I'm not talking about knowing checklists or just in general. Like, is that starting to be more of a trend? Has it been a
I
trend?
think that's kind of always been right. I mean, you look back to even as breaking really started to jump onto the scene in. I'll use TikTok and whatnot because I'm gonna get some OG Facebook breakers or Instagram breakers in here. I've been breaking since
Yeah,
1999. You know, I mean, but anyways, like
for
when
sure.
breaking really hit the scene, um, there was a lot of the breakers that were successful. They have multiple channels, right? Multiple channels are breaking multiple hours a day, 7 days a week. That's just revenue, right? That's just business. But yeah, there's quite a bit of those, and the bigger you get, like I said, I mean, everyone knows who Backyard Breaks is. Um, those guys, I mean, at one point in time, I think they were running, don't quote me, what, $5 million a week, $7 million a week, something like that. I mean, just astronomical, crazy numbers. You know what their profit margin is probably substantial because they're getting allocation on a lot of that product. Um, but
Well,
yeah, no, that's
yeah,
kind of the model.
that's another
If you
thing.
want to be successful,
But
one breaker can do so much, right? One breaker, even we'll just take the point where you're ready to quit your job, right? How much money do you have to be making that you're ready to quit your job, lose your insurance, be independent, run a small business, and start breaking, let's just
yeah,
call it 5 days a week, right? That's what, 50 grand a year. So if you can profit 50 grand a year, you look at these guys that are breaking full time. I mean, they've got to at least be making that, right?
at a minimum, have to right at a minimum.
Yeah.
Where do we live in the country? There's so many factors, right? So many
Yeah.
factors. How big's your fucking family? how fucking much does your son eat? Oh my God. I know, you know, like, how do you eat all this damn food? But no,
Yeah, I got a
okay,
16-year-old. It's bad.
no shit, and he fucking plays sports. So all right, so that's what happened with that. So there's some back end funny shit that happens all the time. I had Ryan Durkee on a couple days ago from Sick. He lives in like the Boston-ish area. Fucking awesome guy. Never really talked to him much, but one of the best interviews I've ever had definitely was somebody I don't know. Fucking great. And the reason we started talking was in Sick, which has like 16,000 or yeah, 16,000 members, something crazy. He shared the video of me and Darren talking about you guys having a couple shops and trying to get allocation, and Fanatics essentially laughing at you guys. Like, that's just not fucking enough for us to even fucking fart in your direction.
Yeah.
So he shares it, and a couple other guys who do own brick and mortar commented and said, they're fucking right. This is true. This is what's happening right now,
Yeah.
you know? And so I got to thinking, there's so many guys I know. You hear this shit all the time, and most of it's pipe dream bullshit. I want to quit my job and do cards for a living, not knowing that it becomes a job and then it sucks like everything else to a degree. That's not totally true, but why even entertain the idea of having a shop when you're going to get hammered by internet? You've got to pay bills. Everything is just digital. Like, what is the incentive to a LCS anymore? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, it's tough. I don't see much. In all honesty, I don't see much reason to want to open a hobby shop these days unless unless you can afford to not have it be your sole purpose of funding or money and of
Hmm.
income. It's tough, man. And we took a lot of hate too because we called Fanatics. I think I used the term dog shit product, and then Breeze picked it up and said dog shit product, and that's kind of been
Oh
the
yeah.
thing. And then Steven got fired. Um, so the
Fuck them.
but it's not just their product. And we were talking about their helmet products, right? I mean, Topps
Yeah,
cards are going to be Topps cards. It is what it is. I've got,
they suck too.
I don't know, fuck God knows how many fucking hobby boxes at the moment. So I love it. I'm going to continue to rip it, but I hate the company. And here's why, right? Because of that company, they have taken, they come in and did a hostile takeover, right? So as a wholesale company, we were supplying helmets to breakers, right? On let's just use TikTok. Fanatics comes in right after stealing everything that they did from Panini, running through the lawsuits, laying the long dick of the law on the table, saying we're going to own it all, do what you fucking want, you can't stop us. Well, then they go to these breakers, right? And this is fucking criminal. They go to these breakers, they shut their fucking accounts down on TikTok. And then they call them right after they have TikTok shut their accounts down. And I have verification from TikTok directly that,
What the
that the
fuck?
NFL has a back end login to be able to go view the content that is on TikTok to see if they want to ban your account. But not only if they want to ban your account, it's very funny that the only accounts that got banned were the big accounts. Yeah, some of the small accounts got banned, but the big accounts got banned. And then guess what? They're back selling fucking Fanatics under wraps products instantly. Why? Because I also know that those breakers got a phone call from Fanatics saying, if you will break our products, then you can get your TikTok account back. That's fucking criminal, right? The
That's strong arm
company,
fucking dude. That's extortion.
it's extortion. The company is fucking trash. And for you guys to sell your soul, and I'm talking to every one of you breakers breaking Fanatics right now, for you guys to sell your soul to the devil, shame on you. Shame on you. And you're watching. So that's my opinion. That's just what
But
I
okay,
think.
or let me push back on that. Or you can fucking die, or at best fucking scrounge for fucking retail, fighting some fucking knuckle dragger trying to get Pokemon for some bullshit top shit, which I think it just looks so bad. I'm sorry. I was mad at Panini. I'm really mad at Tops. Fucking somebody come save us. And it ain't Leaf, but anyways, and like, to fucking sit on Whatnot, you get your maybe 6, 7 fucking shitty blasters, make no margin, just investing in yourself, arguing with your wife, saying you're going to fucking make it, spending all your free fucking time doing that, ignoring your kids, going to work, only thinking about sitting on your stool to watch, on fucking whatnot all day and never make it. Or you can fucking jump on board
But
with the
Fanatics, you're
devil.
still just a number, and that's the thing. You're still just a
Yeah.
fucking number. You've sold your soul. You sold your fucking your fucking everything. I'm not for me. I'll jump.
Yeah. No
I'm
shit.
ride
No
or
shit.
die. So fuck that. I'll find a
Fuck
way.
yeah.
That's what I've
No,
done my
dude,
whole
for
life. I'll
sure.
find a way.
I,
But I'm gonna
I'd
stay
rather,
loyal and true and fuck that company for what they've done to all of the small companies. Fuck that company for what they're doing to the small hobby shop that kept this hobby alive. That's the reason you can put
yeah.
$100 billion into this motherfucker and rake people over the coals on every single product. No, I'm just not with it. I'm not about it.
No shit. Dude, and same with me. I'd rather mop the floor at a fucking peep show than have somebody tell me what I can and can't say.
Yep.
That's just all there is to
Well,
it.
I
You know?
broke all the
Um,
cardinal rules, right? I'm the wholesale company talking about wholesale prices, and I'll give you the fucking prices of every company's wholesale. By the way, every one of them have them all. But I'm breaking the cardinal rule, right? I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm supposed to
yeah.
hush, hush, don't say nothing. We're all in this together. It's camaraderie. This is money. Nah, bullshit. It ain't. No, it's only money when it's
No,
money for you. When it attempts to be
yeah.
money for somebody else, it's cut them off, move to the next run. There's no loyalty in this game.
No way. Cause there's no fucking way you could ever convince me that the company that I compete with is my fucking, like, they wouldn't fucking push me off the fucking bridge. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't believe it. So, side note, I want to give Darren a shout out to this because we've talked so many times, him and I, about he would always make it very clear, and the culture of your company, it's a beautiful thing. No matter what, he's going to call me to talk about outside of shit, not fucking dollars. And he has always held true to that. So you snagged you a good one, man. Like, he's a
I
solid
fucking
dude.
love Darren,
And
but Darren,
yeah,
Darren is so he calls me Wreck It Ricky, right? You got to watch it because
yes,
I'll fucking say shit that I'm not supposed to, right? That's just here we are. Darren's not here. Guess what?
that's
This
why
is
he's
gonna
not
be
invited.
clipped everywhere. There's gonna be so many fucking people talking about this. It's crazy. Um,
Yes.
but Darren's gonna be like, "Damn it, dude! I told you not
Yep.
to. I told you
Yeah,
not to." But there's, I will always stand on transparency, whether I've fucked up, whether I've done something wrong. I teach my kids to make sure that they are accountable for what they do, right or wrong, and just be a good fucking person.
yeah,
Just be a good person. But business 101 is whose back can I step on to get to the next level,
for sure.
right? And it doesn't have to be that way, guys. It doesn't have to be that way. Um,
Dude,
so fuck it. I'll
look
say
at
it.
look at how much money's here. There's everybody
Yeah.
can eat. It's just like, why do you gotta eat it all? Which reminds me. So when we talk about selling our soul with Fanatics and all this shit, this is another discussion I've had with a few of us that have channels. It's really difficult. Like, I'm doing very well on Facebook. I do okay on TikTok and okay on Instagram. I suck on YouTube. YouTube and Spotify and these places are where the monetization's much more beneficial. It's better, right? You get paid more, or was. But either way, a discussion we have all the time is, how come we've been at it for years? I've been doing this kind of something in this variation, talking shit for years. And I just can't break in. This guy, Professor Sports Cards, fucking amazing. One of the best live shows you can watch to argue and talk about sports cards. It's fun. Um, he can't break into it, but we also are the types that can't get put on with Fanatics and all these things. But a lot of guys have made comments and points that these people have been selected for a long time. Your uh, your Mojo, your fucking, even Boston Card Hunter now, out of the blue. He's fucking, it appears to be working for Fanatics. Like Neo, like all these dudes are fucking, Grant from Backyard. These dudes can say things that would get the average person canceled, and it just fucking blows them up. And I get it. Controversy's always good. Any versy's good. But the teams have been picked. I couldn't, even if I didn't have guests on that completely shit on Fanatics, they probably wouldn't let me go much further anyways. You know what I mean? Like, the teams have been chosen. That's a fucking problem too. You know, there are lawsuits about Fanatics being what's the word? A monopoly. Jesus, wow.
Oh yeah, no,
Um,
there's not. There's no
so that
shit.
yeah, they kicked that.
Yeah, there's
And
no
now
monopoly in licensing.
that's all right. Right, right. So but there's a monopoly on all of I can't say it's a monopoly, but they own all of it. They own all the big social media channels, and that's where this shit starts these days. This is fucking, I don't want to call it grassroots, but ground zero. This is ground zero
Yeah,
for it all.
it's going.
This video could potentially influence fucking the hobby for a generation. It could.
Mhm. Or it could get a cease and desist, and we're no longer allowed to have anything to do with tops or anybody that breaks tops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I'm sure it's coming. The good news is I ain't got shit, motherfuckers, so you ain't gonna get shit from me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
doesn't matter to me either. Fucking have it,
I've
you
dude,
know.
it's just it's crazy. I appreciate anybody that gets up here and tells the truth. And there's going to be people that disagree with you. And I know there's going to be people that are going to look at it from a different angle. Remember, guys, this all started from a memorabilia standpoint. That's something I'm very ignorant into. So I'm just listening, but I can equate it into cards. You guys are there in the space. And when Breeze broke down the 50 box break and said the chase helmet's this amount, but the floors are this amount, and you buy this amount, and you have to hit this, and you're just not gonna because they aren't there. It made so much fucking sense, but I've never heard anything put out like that. You
Well,
just
like I
don't
said,
hear it, man.
I have no issues completely breaking it down for you. You know, I'll show you the wholesale cost. I'll show you what we can get helmets from the distributors, or I'll show you what we can buy. Like we can even do a test run throughout a week where I go out and buy 50 helmets, put them in a box, and then sell them at cost. And you guys, I'll show you everything, right? Because I've never been a gatekeeper. I don't want to, one of the biggest things that actually brought me into this industry so much, and the nights that I would spend till the sun come, I would be up all night long researching, and then I would take my kids to school, and then I would come home and I'd get on the phone and I'd call Gold River and I'd call PhD and I'd call fucking GTS and I would call Southern Hobby and I would call All Sport Marketing and I would call all these companies like, please give me an account. Please, we're not giving anybody an account. Please give me an account. Call them the next day, the next day, the next day, the next day, just day in and day out to try to get something. But nobody would tell me who, just the names that I listed to you. And I know the internet, and you can find some of this stuff now a little easier, especially with AI. But it was very taboo. There was not a single
For
fucking
sure.
breaker or hobby shop that was going to tell you where they were getting their products. Not one. And I
Right.
fucking hated that. It's like, man, look, I'm not trying to be your competition. I want to be successful in this industry, and I have to find a way to do it. Someone's going to give me the answers. Well, that's how we ended up with hobby shops, because if you're not going to tell me, then I'll just buy your whole store, and then I get to know, because now I own your computers too,
Yeah.
so I get to go back there and look, right? It's but fucking PhD, they were the first one. Paul Greenblatt is his name. Shout out to Paul. Paul took fucking chewings from me multiple times. Great guy. I don't know if he still works for PhD or not. It's been a couple years since I've used him. But they I mean, he finally gave me an account, right? He finally gave me an account. But even then, it was like your allocation is so low. And it's even worse now. And Fanatics is killing the four-step system, right? You have manufacturing, wholesale, reseller, consumer. They want to go manufacture, we own it, we distribute it, consumer. And that is it. They want to give you the fucking shocker. And
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, I can't blame them as a company, right? I mean, I guess I
Yeah.
can't blame them as a company. Do your thing, big dog. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, you don't. And that doesn't mean we're not going to say anything about it. And bottom line is, as we all know, for the most part, as companies grow and start to buy up all the little pieces in whatever industry they're in, and our local hospital system, they were really good when they were a little bit smaller and there was a couple more. And now
Uh-huh.
that they're big, they're fucking awful. I could have a fucking bullet in my head. Please don't take me there. They just suck.
Yeah.
Everything about, and that is a gross over simplification or exaggeration of it all. But as it goes, it doesn't tend to get better. We as consumers eventually, hopefully, will get smart and just stop buying it if it gets that bad. but I don't think we will because a lot of us aren't buying the cards. We don't fucking care about the cards. We don't care about the helmets anymore. It's fucking gambling. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. A lot of us. It is.
It's just a market. In and out, in and
Yep.
out, in and
Yep.
out. You're not actually
Right.
collecting shit. You're just selling it. So
Fuck.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Right
I'm
back. It's just the chase. Hell yeah. So we're up against the hour, man. Is the fucking wow, dude? That was beautiful. Holy shit. Tell me how you really feel.
yeah, that one will
Is there
get you. I mean, hey,
yeah.
listen, fuck it, right? I've always said that I'll run this company as transparent as possible. I've always said that I'm for the small guy, so I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. A
Dude,
lot of mad
well,
people. I will probably even lose clients. This will cost me money. Um,
mhm.
but I don't care. I don't care.
Um,
Darren's
ma-
going to be calling me here in a minute, going, "Please tell me you
yeah,
did not get on
you're
there
fucked.
and say all of those things you said you were going to say." And I'm like, "Well, not only did I say those, I said a lot more too." So
Yeah. And if you want to find out, www.oneofinterviews.com when it comes
yes,
out.
plug it.
Dude, fucking no, seriously, thanks, man. I've had you on 3 times now. Every fucking time you've given a blueprint or an example or instructions or back end or something that we just don't get anywhere else. This is a fact. Go back and watch the other videos, guys. Every single fucking one. How many DMs have I got from people going, holy shit, that was awesome. Nobody ever broke it down because it's just like you said, nobody's trying to give up their source. Here's the
Yeah.
fucking source, guys. Rick at ripenigma.com. Hit him up.
Not only do they not want to give you the source, they don't want to tell you how to do it, right? But that's
Right.
just insecurities, in my opinion. If you're too scared to share with somebody how to be successful, then you're probably worried they're going to take your success from you. And if you're worried about you're losing your success for teaching someone else, what's that say? Fuck it.
Fuck,
Come one,
dude.
come
Fuck
all.
yeah.
I'll tell you where to buy them, how to buy them, how to sell them. I'll give you the blueprint. I hope you are successful, big dog. I really do.
Hell yeah. Rick,
I want
fucking, you're the
nothing more
man,
than
dude.
people to quit their jobs, go to
Yeah,
work in what they fucking enjoy.
that'd be fucking sweet. Dude, I'm telling you, we got to make this at least monthly regularly. Fucking
Bro, I would get on this
Wreck It
thing once a
Ricky's rants.
yeah.
No, dude. Yeah, I'm with that, dude. I'm with that, dude. Well, and we
I
could
will be
like,
canceled if I'm on this thing once a week.
yeah, you will. That's all right though, because fuck, it's good for my numbers. So I'm
Yeah,
with
fuck
it,
it,
dude.
right? Fuck it.
Oh man. No, seriously, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for making some time for me.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Anytime.